Hi, welcome to Moto. I'm going to be doing a review on the 2023 BMW G310GS, both on-road and off-road, but I have to let you know that my mic wasn't working for the on-road part. So here we go. 0 to 60 miles per hour and freeway riding. I was kind of nervous to take it on the freeway at first because I heard of all of the horror stories about how it doesn't have any power, with 34 horsepower it doesn't go that fast or anything like that. Well, let me tell you, I was pleasantly surprised with it. And here's the 0 to 60. You can see that it gets there pretty fast. And throughout this video, I'm going to talk about some of the things that I've heard on other videos with regards to vibration, and you can't ride it that fast for a long time, and so on and so forth. One of the things that I do also own is a street bike. It's a VFR 800. They call it a sport tourer. Has a top speed of about 155. Goes 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds, and so on and so forth. I'm not comparing that to this in a sense of speed or power or anything like that, but I will be comparing it with regards to some of the complaints with vibrations and things like that. This one has a smaller windshield. Obviously the wind is going straight into your chest. I'm going to change that. Actually, I have changed that already, and it doesn't have a full fairing, so you can't expect too much out of it. One of the things that people said is that riding it over a certain speed, it vibrates so much. And let me just tell you this, on my sport bike it vibrates just the same or even a little bit more through the pegs and everything else. On this, the handlebars aren't bad, it doesn't vibrate like that. One of the things that people complained about was, well, the mirror shakes and you can't see anything. But if you look at the mirrors, in this video, you'll see that you can clearly see stuff out the back, and there's no issues with that. It cruises around 65, no problem. I can cruise all day at 70 on it without an issue. So, if you want to talk about the vibrations and things like that, it's probably from people that haven't ridden a larger motorcycle or haven't ridden a motorcycle like this before. But to say that I was pleasantly surprised would be an understatement. You can see that the handlebars aren't vibrating like people say they do. I'm riding with one hand here. And some of the other things that you'll see throughout this video are with regards to, how does it accelerate when passing. And here's an example of it on the freeway. It's not maxed out. They say it goes anywhere from 86 to 90 miles an hour. I haven't gone that fast on it yet. The fastest I've gone is probably 82 or 84. But here's an example of passing on the freeway. It's not light speed that I'm passing this truck, but obviously it's good enough, and if you have that ability to pass, then you won't be afraid to ride it. Handles well on the freeway with regards to maneuverability. The turning on it is awesome. It feels like a sport bike in a lot of ways. It has the 80-20 tires on it, 80 highway, 20 off-road, and it feels great. You don't feel any bumps or anything like that from the tires. Here's an example of a corner that is 40 miles an hour, and when we get to it, you can look at my speedometer and see how fast I'm going, because you have that confidence in it and you have that ability to know that it's going to do really well. So yeah, 62 miles an hour on a 40 turn, so that's pretty good. So parking lot maneuverability and street riding. One of the things that on my street bike, it's about 500 pounds, so it's very difficult to maneuver in a parking lot. I don't even usually park like this. I try to park with the front facing out so I don't have to do this, but it's really simple to move around in the parking lot and there's no issues with it. If it was a lot heavier, like the bigger GSs, I think that would be an issue. I think it would be a pain in the butt, but this is pretty light comparatively. I think it's 396 pounds wet. That's including a full fuel tank and everything else, but there's no issues with it. I wanted to show you on the street how it rides in traffic and things like that. And again, the maneuverability on it's really good, so you don't have to worry about turns or anything like that. Being an issue with regards to how fast you're turning or anything like that, or being abrupt with it, there's no issues with that. Keeps up with traffic great, and it feels at home, on the street, especially when you're taking off from a light. One great thing about the 2023 model is it has the assist when taking off, meaning that it helps you to keep from stalling once you're at a stop position with the clutch. And what that does is that when you're taking off, you feel more confident in letting go of the clutch and riding, because it revs up just a little bit in order to make sure that you don't stall the bike when you're in traffic. I know for new riders on the street, that's one of the most difficult things to overcome, and I think that this motorcycle helps with that ability. Handles potholes really well. The braking is very good. In a lot of latter part of this video, I show a part where I actually slam on the anti-lock brakes to see if it would skid out, and it didn't. The front brake is kind of soft in a way, but again, I'm used to riding a street bike, and if you grab a handful of that, you're going over the bars. So this helps with the beginners when they're on the road and they're trying to learn that stuff. So it's an easy squeeze, and the brakes are made by Brembo, so they work really well once you get used to them and you know how to use them. It's funny because people complain about it stalling all the time. I didn't have that issue except when I was in the woods, and that'll be later in the video. I stalled it quite a few times, and that's because I haven't ridden an off-road bike. I've ridden mountain bikes, quads, and stuff like that, and you basically don't need a clutch. So clutch work was difficult for me off-road. So you'll see that later in the video. So yeah, street, it works great, and I was very pleasantly surprised with it on the street as well. So passing power, I showed you on the freeway, and I wanted to show it to you on the road. There was this Harley Davidson person in front of me, nice gentleman, because he waved me by, and I just wanted to make sure that I had enough room on the left hand side where there was no cars coming, just in case something happened. Here you see he waved me by, so I'm just giving it a couple seconds. Obviously he sees I'm there, and he's like, come by. So I'm waiting for this car to pass, and then here's the passing car. Again, no issues, and I was pleasantly surprised by it. It was a nice, beautiful day on this ride, and fortunately for the whole day it was. It's been raining over here for weeks on end, it seems like. I'm probably exaggerating, but yeah. Next thing I wanted to show you was how does it do in the twisties, as they call them, the corners. Well, this is a 30-mile-an-hour corner, and I think I'm going about 55 or 60 on this. No issues. Like I said, it handles really well. I was really surprised with it. I would think that, you know, I've ridden a dirt bike on the street and have had, you know, squiggly times and stuff like that. It just didn't feel safe. This one is a 35-mile-an-hour turn, and obviously I'm going 60 on it. Felt very planted, no issues whatsoever. It, you know, almost feels like a sport bike, like I said previously. And this one turn coming up, it's a 25-mile-an-hour turn. So I thought I'd slow down just a little bit. And here's the thing, what's great about this motorcycle is you actually build a lot of confidence in riding it as you ride it. For somebody that's new, that hasn't ridden a motorcycle, I think it would be a great beginner motorcycle. The reason I bought it was more for the off-road piece, but I would have no issue riding it on the street all the time, because it's just very simple, very easy to use. And here is the anti-lock brakes. I pushed them all the way down, didn't skid, it just stopped, so that was really good. One of the things I did notice was the shifter on it. I like to upshift fast, and here you can see I redlined it. For some reason it didn't go into gear, so that was one of the issues that came up. You know, all those roads I was riding on were really smooth, and here's a little rough road. There's cracks all over the place. I wanted to see how it would handle on that, and it did amazing. The people said the suspension is soft. I didn't agree with that. I think it's a little bit soft. I weigh 235 pounds. I'm 6'2", so you would imagine it would bottom out all the time, but as people were talking about it in review videos, but it doesn't. Handles the bumps really well. You can see from the fairing going up and down that that's how rough the road is. It keeps going up and down. So no issues with that whatsoever. And the great thing about it is it feels planted. So even on rough roads, you don't worry about going around corners and stuff like that. You have confidence in going around corners. With the 80/20 tires, it felt amazing. I don't even know how else to say it, you know, being used to street tires and stuff like that. If you're using them 20% off-road, you'll be surprised with that too. I was. And that'll be in the future part of this video. And you can see I had no issues with all the different pavement cracks and all that stuff. So it does build a lot of confidence. Okay, now we go to the off-road. You can hear the sound in this one, but I'm still going to talk a little bit about it. Now this is my first time riding a motorcycle like this in the woods, in this technical stuff. And you'll see that I stalled it a few times, but overall, it was fun. I had a great time. I don't know if I had more fun on the street or more off-road. I've never taken an off-road course or anything like that, so this is all new to me. So I might not be breaking warp speed or anything like that, but it was fun to do. Here I had a stick stuck in the motorcycle. So one of the things I didn't buy it for was this technical stuff where you have to, you know, go through the woods and drive around and things like that. It went over logs pretty well. I was surprised about that piece of it. Come up here shortly, there's 3 logs or 3 trees down across the road or this path. Did pretty well. This clearing goes out to a fire road, but you have to go down this hill right here first, so. Again, pleasantly surprised by the tires actually gripping all of this stuff. It's funny to think about, you know, these people with these larger BMWs doing this stuff, and I gotta say they have a lot of skill doing it, because I can imagine doing it on a huge bike. This hill, I know it doesn't look steep, but it is pretty steep. There's rocks all over the place. You can see some of them here. Again, it has a lot of power, enough power I should say, to get up these hills with no issues. Once I learn how to ride better, I'll be quicker on this stuff.
Hey, on the fire road it does pretty good. It's rocky stuff, but these are 80-20 tires, so it's not like they're going to hook up or anything. See how it does down there. I know at the bottom down here there's a sandy area.
You can't hear what I was saying, but at the bottom of this hill there's some sand, and that's what was worrying me on this.
I climb the hill. That's pretty good.
I'm going to cut into the forest here and take another fire road. They put a big ditch in this road so that vehicles can't go across it. So this was kind of interesting to see how it worked on this.
Here's a fairly technical piece.
Throughout this, there's a lot of twigs and sticks all over the road with rocks and everything else. I've seen these people say the suspension just bottoms out and bottoms out, and with this, I didn't feel that. However, you know, that could be in future videos, so we'll have to see.
Going pretty slow through here because it's my first time going through here on this.
Again, this motorcycle builds confidence in riding as you ride longer and longer.
Lots of sticks.
Again, I'm no expert. I haven't done this, you know, this is the first time riding a motorcycle like this off-road. So. I think I said earlier, one of the reasons why I bought this was maneuverability and the ability to, you know, take it basically anywhere. You can ride on the freeway into a place like this and then, you know, take it off-road, so I love that aspect of it. Here's another one of those ditches that they have. There was a rock under the tire. This is going down that hill that has all the rocks on it, so I was going pretty slow on it. Now I have to go up this big hill and into those trees. So this is the part I don't know how a big GS could go through all of this stuff. I'd be worried about it.
Nice. Used to this part, so off-road.
Again, it handles really well through these trees. I was really surprised. If you like this video, press the like button, and if you want to subscribe, please subscribe.
There you go. That's the end of my ride. Hope you enjoyed it.